And we are in the room. Let me out!
Let him out inside.
I thought we were done with this.
Oh, no, it was only just the beginning of the middle part, as it were. Welcome back, everyone, to Team Yuma's Dramatis Lectio, the show in which I force my friends, former friends in some cases, to read my bad fanfiction. And when it's not me, it's Matty's terrible comic. But in this case, we've gone back to basics. My tales meta-universe, or whatever you want to call it at this point.
Yay!
We are on the precipice to yet another ghastly, atrocious, no doubt life-altering spin-off that nobody really wanted, save for me, of course. As it turns out, I took a look at what's coming up next, and my reaction was, oh, it's that one.
Oh yeah, you don't remember your stories.
I have vague memories of them at this point. They've all conglomerated to each other like some sort of gormless blob of memories and feelings.
I remember basically everything I've written, if not by word, then at least general plot.
I mean, I definitely know I've revisited some of my old works as well.
So when we are ever going to hear your old stories?
Oh no, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. There's nothing funny or anything interesting. It's just boring, unplanned fluff, essentially, and drama for no reason.
Devar, that's the writing process in a nutshell.
Oh no, I literally mean it. There is literally nothing funny to make fun of in it, because there's nothing interesting about them.
I guess we'll see about that. Or not. Anyway, we have a full house tonight. The gang is back together, the boys are back in town, etc. I am, of course, your perennial host, Madhog Thy Master, joined tonight by my perennial friend for rent, the Arkvaron.
So how much does he pay you? And in what currency?
Apparently nothing, so Dogecoin, I guess.
This is going to date this show instantly. Anyway,
When we haven't
Just
done
like
that.
cryptocurrency.
No, it's a time capsule. That's different.
oh yes, now it's a time capsule. Anyway, you've heard the dulcet baritonal voice of Matimali, aka Hedonistic Actor,
Yes, that is me.
the co-host of our other show, MAMGD, which stands for Madhog and Matty's Gaming Dissertations. I did not have a better title for it, and Matty was no help on that note, so we've stuck with that.
Names are hard.
Names are hard,
Names are hard.
indeed. And speaking
Play
of...
and talk.
What is this, a toddler's TV show? And speaking of which, here's our toddler, Icipal.
Well, coming from you, I guess that goes for a compliment.
Let's get back into the truck and get run over by a go-kart. Tonight's story is...
Oh, we are the trolley problem.
It's titled Il-Lumina-ted, or rather, I guess it's supposed to be a pun because there are a couple of hyphens between il and ted. So the word Lumina in Il-Lumina-ted stands out weirdly. I wonder why.
I think, yeah, I was gonna say there's obviously we're gonna meet three characters. One's called Il, one's called Lumina, and the third one's called Ted.
No,
Yeah,
it's Lumina having her TED talk.
Oh boy. Does anybody here remember what happened last time?
You mean the previous Void Within spin-off?
Yes.
Boyd was an edgelord. Congratulations.
I'm not sure if I was even there.
You were
No.
not.
Oh. He got infected with werehogginess.
I suppose
Lots
that
of people
happened.
died, but
Yes.
in the end, it was all a dream to see if he was good enough to become some sort of dimensional guardian. And
Wait,
bless-
you used it was only a dream ending?
No. Icipal is underselling that. The real bulk of the story was that the writer, as in me, was either bored or did not want to quit writing about these characters that he liked so much, so he came up with the most ridiculous, self-titillating, pretentious scenario imaginable, and didn't really go anywhere, and at the end of it all, it just ended, because there was no more that could be said or done at that point. It was the epitome of pointless writer's block antidote, if you will.
Yeah. Usually when I read self-insert fanfics that are just a self-wank, I have to read the self-wankiness is in the story itself and not in the author's notes.
You are thinking too small. The self-wankiness, as you put it, is not in the story. The self-wankiness is the entire conceit of the story. That's different.
Yes, because, the author is God and is a part of the story.
Navel-gazing in child-friendly terms.
Pretty much, yes. Hey, remember when the Tales saga used to have some semblance of a story and structure and theming, however bad all of those things were? We've gone so far from there. We've fallen so far from that. And only because I couldn't stop writing and I couldn't stop torturing this one character, which I remind you, it's Void from the game Sonic Shuffle. Mm-hmm. I am pretty sure I, at the time, was the only one in the entire fanfiction.net site who wrote fanfictions about Void. I think I've inspired an entire current.
And he, in your own words, was your favorite character, which you wouldn't believe when reading these.
Exactly.
So at this point, it's more of a stream of consciousness rather than some narrative stuff.
Well, it's not just that it is a stream of consciousness, because those can be interesting in their own right. See James Joyce's Ulysses, for example. The problem is that this stream of consciousness is presented to you as pretentious poetry.
Yeah, because, let's have an idea, throw it at the wall and see if it works, and try and make it more important than it actually is.
And what it actually is nothing.
Exactly. I just told you.
And with all that preamble out of the freaking way, Icipal, I'm going to have to ask you not to post things on the chat, because the bleep sound effect is going to be caught by my recording, and that's annoying to the editor, namely me. So anyway, what is this picture? There is a point where we needed to stop, and we have clearly passed it, but let's keep going and see what happens.
You writing Tales Saga in a nutshell.
That is oddly appropriate and also oddly specific. Yes.
So Tales Saga has become a franchise zombie.
Tales Saga has become 9 seasons of Scrubs, effectively.
Oh no! Please don't remind me of that season of Scrubs.
I was thinking more of just started snowballing.
Exactly, and like 9 seasons of Scrubs.
No.
Okay, I guess now we can properly begin. And much like The Void Within, I don't really know what actually happens. I only have a vaguely specific memory about what this story was supposed to be. And I cannot wait to see your reactions to my newest, totally necessary addition to the Tales saga in the form of another Void spin-off, baby! I am not done with Void! I am not done with Void.
Yay!
If you love Void so much, why don't you marry him?
Because he's not real. Icipal, have you forgotten to take your meds tonight?
Oh, I'm not on my meds right now.
Okay, well, maybe you should fix that before we start. So anyway... Devar, would you do me the honor and the privilege of reading the excerpt?
Of course. Il-Lumina-ted by Madhog thy master.
That's me!
Ah, there she was, as far as there existed,
There in quotation marks.
which is why I put importance on there. Set after The Void Within series, as far as time has a meaning, which I highly doubt it. Then again, I can't really know about it, can I?
I don't know, can I?
Rated T. Rated T. Rated T for teen. It's in English. It's a spiritual family
It's
story.
it's a family story.
It's 6 chapters with 10,952 words.
10,000 words for 6 chapters means relatively short chapters, at least.
It has 19 reviews, 2 faves, was published on January 20th of 2009, and was then updated 5 days later.
Yes.
Your published says January 20th.
Yes.
Mine says January 23rd.
We're having this
2009.
moment again. We're having this
Yeah.
moment again.
It's the
yeah,
time
mine says too.
difference.
Oh, this bollocks again. Time is meaningless, etc., etc. Devar, as always,
so meta.
as
What are you
always,
saying?
Devar, you have missed out on the most important aspect whilst reading this. You did not mention who the main characters are.
Well, that's be spoiler territory, don't you
What
think?
do you mean, spoiler? What are you talking about?
Does it even matter?
No, not really.
Well,
Okay, if it changes your world that much,
Yes.
the characters are Void and Lumina F.
What does the F stand for? Her complete name was too long to be included in its entirety, apparently.
I don't know what it means. You are the Sonic fans here.
Yes?
wasn't Lumina the flower girl or something?
No, that's
Lumina
Cosmo.
Flower.
Oh, that was Cosmo. Who is Lumina?
Lumina and Void, by extension, are characters from Sonic Shuffle.
Oh, okay. She was also from that game.
Yep,
Yes,
all pink and everything.
Yeah,
sure.
wasn't that Sonic spin-off that was like Mario Party but bad?
Yes!
Yes,
I see.
I have never played it.
I've
No,
never played it
don't.
either.
I'm
I've only just seen it.
I'm pretty sure that if I had played it, I would not like Void all that much.
But I do think it's hilarious that for one mini game in that game, that Dr. Eggman is shaked one can, and the players have to choose a can out of all these other cans to make sure they do not get sprayed by soda that Dr. Eggman shook.
Yes, that's a real minigame. You know what else is real? Carbuncle ate itself.
What does Dr. Carbuncle from Biker Mice from Mars have to do
No,
with any
it's
of this?
legitimately something inexplicable that happens in Sonic Shuffle during a game of Sonic Shuffle. I have no idea what it means, but it's there.
I'll ask you what it means. I'll ask you what it means.
I don't know. I can't know. Nobody can know.
I think we should start. don't you
Yes,
think?
let's begin. Everybody, this is Il-Lumina-ted. Get it? Now the pun is clear because you know of the character named Lumina, so Il-Lumina-ted. Oh, God.
That certainly works for somebody.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Let's just move on. Devar, would you like to start?
Chapter 1. There's no title.
Why do you always comment on my lack of titles for chapters? There are a lot of books that don't use names for their chapters. Why are you making such a big deal of the lack of names for my chapters? It's classier if they don't have titles.
I thought it was funny, okay?
and you wonder why it takes so long to start these things.
There they come. There they go. There they merge. There they separate. There they're born.
There they born!
There they die. And then reborn.
Oh, mwah, flawless grammar there.
Ah, so Void is a Buddhist.
Sure. I'm sure that was intentional.
Dreams, thoughts, ideas, feelings, or just a small glimpse of everything or nothing at all.
His entire saga in a nutshell.
Clear visions, foggy visions, pure madness, or sheer genitalia. I probably mean genital. Genial. I never read this word before. Geniality or geniality.
Geniality!
Oh, that's the word. Yeah, now I remember that word.
Did you mean
Genial-
geniosity?
No! That's an
Genial-
even more wrong word, if that's even possible.
Geniality, I remember her back in high school. Or both. Or nothing at all.
Story
nothing
of
at
my life.
all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Do not look behind the curtain. There is no writer
Sexy
there.
Devar.
Oh god, please don't remind me. Fantasies, possibilities, questions, and solutions.
I'd like that packet of solutions, please.
I would like those answers, please, because usually that's what comes after questions, usually.
What are you going to do with all that solution?
I'm going to use it to wipe your smirk off your face.
You can most certainly try.
Or nothing at all.
Feels like I'm writing nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, I get nothing out of this.
Yeah, me
It's
neither.
nothing. It's everything or nothing at all. Choose a side, I guess.
I've said this once, I say it again. This feels like the author basically going on a tangent that he feels like he wanted to go on and just tried to disguise it as a story.
Don't call me out on that in public.
Hey, this is probably like thoughts on Twitter before Twitter was made. It was unpredictable, all confusing, all chaos,
Chaos.
all of this. And yet again, nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Nothing
mean,
at
yeah.
all.
Put that on a t-shirt. Nothing at all.
Yeah, and it'll literally be a blank shirt.
Devar, it's your favorite line in the entire universe. It's making a comeback.
The unbalanced balance that lies within our souls. The cluster that makes us whole.
You might not remember this, but the last time you've come across this sentence, the unbalanced balance, you dropped an F-bomb.
I remember slightly.
And this is a big deal because otherwise I have never heard Devar swearing real swears.
Unbalanced balance. That's just chaos.
Exactly!
Or nothing at all.
Or nothing at all. Chaos is either everything or nothing at all. It is all chaos.
But chaos has to be something, because, it has to destroy, or be a thing. It can't be nothing at all.
But you cannot categorize chaos into something that it could or might or not be, otherwise it wouldn't be chaos. So for all you know, it could be everything or nothing.
So Void is order and Lumina is chaos.
No, it's the other way around.
Yes.
Because if you become void, then there's emptiness, which is an order in itself.
Matti, I think
too
you're
much.
thinking too much about this, really.
Yeah, you are giving the author of this figure way too much credit about thinking things.
He does that on occasion. Shame him!
And in retrospect, you're trying to give X-Death a personality in the Final Fantasy series.
I'm not that bad, am I?
Anyway.
Yes.
No.
all of our personal chaos, all of our inner universes converged in one place.
Las Vegas?
Was it all an illusion? Was it real? How can you possibly distinguish dream from reality? Does reality really does reality exist at all?
I don't know, does it?
Can I please
Are we in the Matrix?
Can I please listen to an unending rant from Pinhead from the Hellraiser series?
We have
forever?
such sights to show you.
The pleasure of the flesh.
The Hellraiser films are garbage, by the way. I've seen them recently. Number 1 is boring as all get out. Number 2 is the most messily edited catastrophe of a film I've seen in a long time. And number 3 is almost fun. And that's my opinion about Hellraiser.
In this particular realm, such questions seem to be utterly worthless.
Oh gosh, he's Pinhead now.
The one place where all living beings' inner desires and emotion. Oh, desires! That actually works for this. And emotions, issues, and dreams would come, recreate themselves, and leave for chaos nowhere. And there he was, sat on his throne. The ruler of this imaginary, yet so amazingly realistic kingdom.
PS1 graphics, I am not impressed.
The guardian of the majestic, mysterious stone that made all of this marvel possible. The embodiment of everyone's inner emptiness. Oh, I see. This is Pinhead's phase where he kinda loses the magic. Void was his name. And Void was his condition.
Oh, I thought Void was the narrator.
As it was the style at the time, the narrator could literally be anyone from me to Fang to Ixis Naugus and everyone in between. You never knew who could be narrating this, especially when the entire paragraph is presented in bold and italic. Such is the case here, by the way.
Although his namesake space has been partially filled.
He had a very good lunch.
I'm sorry, what is this sentence?
He means to say that his void, which is his namesake, is partially filled with goo, I suppose.
All of our inner universes converge in one place, an embodiment of everyone's inner emptiness. Namesake space has been partially filled. This is just one big giant metaphor for being hungry.
Pretty much.
I thought that the word that came out of your mouth was a weird combination between horny and hungry. Horngry.
He had hopes. He had expectations.
He had great expectations.
He was going to get the most amazing burger that he could eat. He foresaw.
Pleasures of flesh.
Ah.
We have such sights to show you from our family range of menus.
Merch, I'm hungry.
He foresaw the day, or should I say, the non-day.
Oh god.
Since time seemed to be meaningless, in brackets.
Thank you.
In which his sleeping princess shall awake from her frozen slumber.
Oh my gosh, Blaze is still encased in ice after all this time? Oh my gosh, give me a break. I've heard about women in refrigerators, but this is ridiculous.
Somehow, some way. He would
Somehow, some way. No, 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 no.
He would dream of such moment. And so he would witness such event when awakened. If he was awakened, that is.
If he was awakened, that is.
This is making me so sleepy.
So this story is basically, Void, get out of bed. You have things to do. Nah, I don't feel like getting out of bed.
Wake up! We've got some things to do today.
or what he knew, he could still be dreaming, for he couldn't tell the difference between dream and awareness.
I think that's a medical condition. You should see a doctor.
Or he's just very, very tired.
An insomniac, perhaps?
And again, who really could? Not me, for
most
sure.
people.
Not me, for sure, the writer of this story, obviously.
I can only imagine and believe to be aware.
Oh, God.
That's one of the things that we, as living sapient beings, are allowed to do.
I'll give myself some points for the correct use of the word sapient.
That is the only point you are getting from this.
In this realm, everything stood as a declared challenge towards everything considered rational and logic. Dreams used to be that way.
But everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Oh god, imagining Pinhead saying that. But everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
That would make for a very interesting Hellraiser, let me tell you.
Interesting Hellraiser plot twist.
Speaking of garbage, where is my Hellraiser Phantasm crossover?
Everything glows and changes, born and dies. Sometimes new forms come out from nothing.
Is this a metaphor for the writing process?
There were moments in which one or more people's emotions and desires were so strong and determined that they would merge with themselves, allowing the creation of entire scenarios, metaphorical manifestations of such feelings or group of feelings.
I do not approve of this Inside Out spin-off.
And every once in a while, all new living creatures would come to life from raw thoughts and emotions. Yeah, we call that fetish art.
We do not kink shame.
No, we
this
do
podcast,
not.
But we do kink pity. If
No,
I may borrow that from Matti.
I like to say the phrase, I kink joke. So it's all in good fun to make fun of good things for other people.
I kink joke. You're going to ruin this word for everyone.
And they were real. I mean, kink comedy is a thing, right?
It's just a kink brag, bro.
Anyway.
So anyway, what about those raw thoughts and emotions that became real boys or something?
And they were real. They all were real. Because they could think of their own.
I thought you were going to say they were all real because you think they are real, and this is all about solipsism in the end. But apparently cognito ergo sum, baby.
And could dream and feel of their own. A wise person once used to say, cognito ergo sum.
Yes, it was Mikey back at the convenience store. He used to say that every time.
He would like to apologize to that Mikey for having his words put into this.
So, for those who don't know, cognito ergo sum is the famous line pronounced by French philosopher Descartes.
Yeah, the first time I heard this phrase used was the computer from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
An indictment of Descartes.
Yeah. Void used to have doubts.
Well, he did not when he was working under Ixis Norgos. Then he knew everything how things were.
Oh gosh.
After all, why would my master lie to me?
I'm going to say something that I've said already in the past, but in the right hands, this could have been a decent story about the trauma of surviving indoctrination, which is what Void went through, and lived to see the other side of that. The indoctrination has so thoroughly messed with his head and emotions that even now that he knows it was all wrong, part of him still clings to that certainty that it gave to him. It's an abusive relationship, and all of that could have been so good and interesting to explore. Unfortunately, we have this Hellraiser bullpucky here instead.
Yeah, I'm still not sure if the story has actually begun.
It has not.
Yes, it has not started at all. This is the foreplay.
The story begins once the italic bold text finishes.
The story is all foreplay. There's no thing to it.
Sometimes the foreplay is the story, though.
Okay, so the story doesn't start in the first chapter yet.
Okay, let me continue. Boyd used to have doubts. He doubted everything that surrounded him to be real. He doubted himself to be real. He used to think he was the creation of someone else's deranged mind.
I wanna feel! I wanna heal!
He used to think he was just the character of a fictional story.
What do you mean he used to think that it's been confirmed you're just a character in a fictional story?
But if all new living creatures come to life from raw thoughts and emotions, and those raw thoughts and emotions and creatures they create are real, doesn't that mean that it is real?
That's storytelling in a nutshell. These characters are not real, but they feel real to me. So what is real and what is not, as the song goes.
He thought. That was the key word. He could think, therefore he was.
Aha, but I'm the one who's making him think, so who's the Joker now?
Congratulations, Matti. You saw the plot twist ahead before we even started.
Yeah.
You suffer, therefore you are. I hate. Right.
Left.
Or maybe he just deluded himself into believing he could think. But that would be considered an utter paradox due to the fact that he would think he could not think because he would think someone else was thinking for him since he thought he wasn't really alive.
Wow, who wrote this portion must have thought themselves to be really clever.
Don't you sometimes find yourself running in circle with your toxic thoughts that swim around in your brain? This is supposed to emulate that.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah, it emulates it maybe a tad too well.
Yes.
I'll take that as a compliment.
We're losing the point here.
Yes. What was the point again?
He could not distinguish reality from fiction. But when she came into his life, he put all doubts aside. Who's she? A figment of the Cedrian's imagination.
Imagination.
Oh god, Pinhead doing the imagination. With SpongeBob
Imagination.
I'm sure there is fan art of that.
Which could very well be another disfiguring paradox due to the previous reasoning in brackets.
Shut up.
And question mark after the parenthesis, which is always good to see.
A real living, breathing creature, born from raw emotions and /or desires.
Desires? Question mark.
We have such desires to show you.
Hellraiser!
Was she a part of him? A part of his soul? A part of his being? Was she born from his own feelings? Just like Athena was born from Zeus's thoughts?
Yes, that story. Greek mythology is wild, guys. I wrote this tweet some time ago in which I imagine the Athena's conception as some sort of sitcom in which Zeus shows up with a baby in his arms. Hera, honey, you'll never believe what happened to me today.
Yeah.
Who's the whore now? Well, it's my brain, says Zeus.
I mean, yes, Zeus only had horny in his brain all the time.
All the women he raped and impregnated that gave him demigods, this is the one that comes out of his brain. I think we've gone full circle with Zeus being a horny bastard.
Yeah. I should probably say this next line like this. Was he a god? Sorry, Ghostbuster reference. No. That question is superficial. In our own dreamlands. What, we're going to Nights into Dreams all of a sudden?
No. This is imaginary world.
Oh, so we're going to Balan Wonderworld?
No, we're going to Sonic Shuffle, unfortunately.
We're all gods.
Well, I always knew that Kirby was an Eldritch god.
Even though we don't always have control over them. Do we? Cue Pinhead standing at the podium of the church and going, I am the way.
Hellraiser!
Whatever the answer was, there she was. She appeared out of nothing, right on Void's lap. You know what? I'm just having this dreaded realization that I'm returning to feeling like I'm reading the Eye of Argon all of a sudden.
Really?
Yes, because all I'm getting from all this... Let's see, how long we've been at this for? Probably about 40 minutes now of reading this bullshit.
Correction. If you count all the preamble, it's been 50 minutes.
Is this what those who don't like James Joyce's Odyssey think James Joyce's Odyssey is like?
let me finish my thought here. Let me finish my thought here. Because all I'm getting from this is a lot of words just to say, hey guys, Void's in the story. And Blaze is in the story. And he's thinking about her.
And I guess there is a baby now?
Can we do the unthinkable and just skip stuff? These non-happenings are driving me insane.
Hold on, guys. Let me check something real quick.
Oh no.
I have to say, even on the standards of Tales Saga, this is talking so very much, but saying so little.
I know, right?
Guys, I have bad news.
Oh no.
Most of this story is, well, this.
Oh no.
I think we've come full circle with the pretentiousness here.
Can we put this reading on 2.0 speed?
Okay, so I have an idea to ease our loads since this is so long. I think we should split up the reading duties, even though we have not come across a line break.
This is almost done anyway, this first chapter, so I might as well finish off, essentially.
If you have the stamina, go for it.
It's the final stretch, Devar. You can do it.
Of course I can do it. Bewilderment was visible in the boy's black eyes. An infant, a newborn, life cuddled on his sitting position. She was asleep, so beautiful, so pure and innocent, so similar to her, to his mother, to Cosmo, and yet so different at the same time.
Wait, whose baby is this?
The baby came out of Void's noggin, apparently, and she looks like Void's mother, which was Cosmo.
Yeah, and Tails was Void's dad.
Not literally, in a manner of speaking.
Just to make sure, Cosmo being Void's mother is not official Sonic canon,
No,
right?
it's not.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna continue this, so please.
They have at least some dignity.
Okay.
Very, very little, but yes.
All in all, she looked like a Cedrian. She had a round, little, fragile head without a nose.
Because I took her nose! Haha, I took your nose!
Her skin was of a candid light orange, like Cosmos's. Her dress was purple/pink, almost lilac.
Ooh, symbolism! Because Blaze is lilac too.
Pinhead's dressed as a fashionista now, going like, "Oh, girlfriend, we're going to make you lovely."
You're
Let us
giving me
get you
so many ideas for a thumbnail for this video, let me tell you.
We're
You are welcome.
we're going to get you some burgundy and get you some nice sandals.
Oh boy.
Her hair were of a feminine dark pink color, and she had closed rosebuds.
Rosebuds?
Rosebuds on her head sides. You mean the sides of her head?
Yes, exactly.
That's a weird way to say that. After bypassing his original shock, Boyd gently took the child in his arms,
And then threw it out the window.
admiring her form and beauty. He cuddled her while pretending to sing a lullaby. How could you pretend to sing? You mean you would? Does that mean you're not singing at all?
You see, it's sad because he doesn't know any lullaby, so he has to come up with something on the spot.
Oh, so you mean make up a lullaby, not pretend to be singing a lullaby?
I suppose that's correct.
You
That-
know, we could try for a minute or two not to go into any tangents, so this.
But then we wouldn't have a show, are you kidding me? It's not on brand.
Genuine new emotions were filling the namesake, not so emptiness inside his soul. A new form of love, the love of a father towards his daughter.
It's a love girl.
The usual cold and crystallized surroundings of imaginary world seemed to react over their master's change of mood. The ice melted and down came the sun.
Whoa!
Colorful gardens with cliched, happy-go-lucky flowers spread all over the place.
Ugh.
Wow, this is like the most blasé way to describe something when you put so much detail into everything else. Thank
Oh
you for
no,
that.
guys, I just realized this is the origin story for Teletubbies.
No.
No. This is the origin story for Sonic Shuffle.
A rather dumb rainbow made its way into its cheap madness. Not to mention, like, little idiotic singing fairies and all that jazz.
So hold on a minute. This. So in the mind of whomever the narrator of this trash is, this rather pleasant change of mood and scenery is met with apathy and scorn. That's not a good sign.
Also noticed that the narration no longer is eloquent in his wordings.
Okay, eloquent is not the word I would use to describe this, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. One, take that jizz out of our.
Ew.
Yeah,
Because he started
this.
using words like dumb and idiotic, kind of an.
Look it up, guys. Jizz is an actual form of music from the Star Wars universe.
The sad thing is that I knew that.
Void looked utterly disgusted at this.
Oh my gosh, there is a spoken line! There is a spoken line, guys!
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah!
Void, say a line that has some form of meaning.
That's way too mushy.
I am dark and edgy. That makes me mature.
Yes.
He complained, while still holding his daughter.
That line sure captures the intricacies of his character, let me tell you.
Sad because it's true.
Who describes their baby as too mushy?
Not the baby, the surroundings.
Scene.
Oh, okay.
While still holding his daughter, he fixed his gaze towards the powerful god gem. You mean Leviathan?
No.
He was meant to protect. The
Well,
precious...
guess I'll have to start taking pieces out and selling them to pay for my new kid.
I wish that were the story.
I needed the money.
I'm paying alimony to my divorced wife.
That would actually make a funny story. A guardian that has been tasked to guard the riches of a temple starts to sell the stuff so he can...
I am pretty sure there are at least 500 fanfictions about Knuckles that are exactly like that.
Anyway, the precious stone glowed as if knowing everything about its guardian's lamentations.
The name of the stone is Precious Stone. All one word, only one S.
And right before a bunch of bright-colored, singing munchkins could appear out of pure mushiness, the places looked drastically changed into the more sober scenario of a certain secluded location with rare plants and ancient ruins. The place where Void was born.
There are the 3 guys who are the ancestors of our main characters stomping on those flowers to make sure that the entire race has died.
Oh my gosh, you still remember that? That was great! That was brilliant! I love that! I love that I wrote that garbage! That's so good!
It was clearly an illusion, as far as clear illusions could be. But it perfectly represented the Cedrian's current mood. Genuinely happy and proud. And definitely not mushy.
Definitely not mushy. We must emphasize that.
Void just basically goes like, oh yeah, I hit that and I got this out of it. Naturally, he would never be that happy. His name was Void, after all.
No, it's because the author likes to torture you.
Consider that the narrator might be biased.
A little plant fairy-like girl in Void's arms was now awakened.
That's the wrong use of an hyphen, by the way.
Awaken! Sorry, I'm thinking of that Disturbed song now. And her father could see her gorgeous azure eyes, just like her would-be grandmother. He smiled at her, a sincere smile full of fatherly love.
Which gave her nightmares forever.
Love, girl. And she smiled back at him. She didn't seem to be scared of his ominous empty-colored orbits.
Ugh.
Nor she was scared of the huge claws that were tenderly holding her.
Oh my god, I would be scared if I were a baby.
She seemed perfectly fine with him. Just like another person. A very important person in Void's life used to be.
His name was Ixis Nagas.
Actually, it's Ixis Adorable now.
His previous smile was now wide and broad. Now he understood where this little child came from. He
Oh, right, I'm missing an H in the where. It's a common mistake.
He slowly walked over a certain crystalline coffin that symbolically stood in the middle of that fictional flowered world.
Yes, it symbolically stood literally in the middle of the fictional flowered
And
world.
when the narrator has to tell you something is symbolically there, you know it's a very good choice.
It's very deep, bro.
It symbolizes the massive middle finger this story shows to its readers.
Void stopped himself right in front of the pod, his daughter still cuddled on his chest. He then looked down at her and softly spoke.
This is your mother, Blaze the cat. Say hello to my little baby.
And she giggled at the sleeping form of her mother inside the ice.
Ah! It's so funny that you're encased in ice.
Yeah, it's so funny because you're encased in ice and my only
I'm
mother
not.
figure can't be here for me.
That's hilarious. Childhood trauma is hilarious.
A childish baby giggle. Then she fell asleep in his arms. Oh, narcolepsy. You best get that checked out.
It's a baby. They don't follow the rules of sleeping schedules.
Screw you, I'm a baby. I'll fall asleep anytime I want. Where?
Oh, I'll keep you up all night.
The older Citrian was content with that. She seemed so solar, so luminous.
Idea for a name!
An idea crossed his mind. A name for the sake of clarity. As far as clarity could be possible over there. He fixed his gaze once again at the once again asleep form of his daughter and muttered,
Welcome to life, Lumina Flowlight. I don't know why I gave you this stupid last name too, but now you are Lumina Flowlight for the rest of your life. You are welcome.
Didn't Lumina come out of Void's toast? Then how is Blaze the mother?
I guess he just imagined her to be the mom.
Oh, so they had like imaginary sex or something.
I suppose so! I think it's the only sex they can have.
Void just imagined himself, taking a plushie of himself, a plushie of Blaze, and just smushing them together in his thoughts.
I hope it was consensual.
I mean, he probably asked for her permission before he commissioned it in his thoughts.
He contacts her telepathically. Hey, I know you're inside of ice, but could we make a baby in my imagination?
So he commissioned an artist to draw fan art of him and Blaze, and that was used as fuel for his imaginary sex.
Don't worry, I'll pay you an exposure.
I am the god of this universe. I have all the exposure. This is so stupid. I love it.
And so the void would be filled with light.
Boo!
And for once, a dream did come true. As far as truthful this reality could be.
Hellraiser!
So the baby is literally the amalgamation of Void's issues of being abandoned and left alone multiple times.
The world would be filled with light!
I love that Dante line.
This is a god having a baby. Can you imagine the gender reveal party?
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah, just imagine God opening the sky going like...
Booming voice, it's a girl! Fun fact, that's how Atlantis was sunk.
Yay.
It was a gender reveal party.
Anyway.
From a biological standpoint, since the dad is a plant and the mom is a cat, does that make the baby catnip?
Actually, it's the origin story of that feline plant creature from part 4 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh my god. I don't remember that at all.
I
do, because, I mean, how could you forget a cat that's a plant? That's inside a stand.
You know, with all the insanity and incoherent mess that entire part of JoJo was, the cat inside a plant was the least baffling element in it, and that's saying a lot. Okay.
We have survived chapter 1.
Hooray!
And I'll be tapping out for this entire chapter, so...
Matti, in an effort to have you awake as much as possible, why don't you read this prose, which apparently is prose for a change?
2.
No title.
Although there's the dot after it, so it should be read as second. Because it's... Okay. Imaginary world was a legendary land, a chimera, some would say, who wasn't supposed to exist. Then again, a lot of things weren't supposed to exist in the first place.
What's with that tone?
Yeah, I just went for a really sarcastic narrator.
Please,
Okay.
Matti, continue like that.
No, please don't continue like that. I need to understand what you're saying.
We've already established the fact that we are not bound to know the difference between what is real and what is not. That the ultimate truth is not for us to reach, but that doesn't necessarily mean we should give up in searching for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matti, the Finnish cowboy.
Yeah, I don't know. Texas, I reckon. Anyway,
Oh my god.
what I'm trying to... What I'm trying to say is this. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
This is the most involved in this story we have been thus far. Please continue.
Yeah. Despite the fact that we don't know, we have, or we should have, the freedom to choose our own answers, our own beliefs, our own truth.
And here I thought this was going to be prose. Instead, it's more of the same.
We should be able to choose what to believe and what not, while still having room for doubts and an open mind over other creeds. And now it just turned into a political talk. That's
my
how
God.
things should be.
I like how the echo in the background is actually helping him seem more important than it actually is.
I can perfectly picture him in my mind sitting atop a podium delivering his presidential speech.
That's
for him.
how things should be. In my opinion, of course, which is not by any means absolute.
Which a politician would never say, by the way.
Yeah. Therefore, for the sake of this story, I choose to adopt a rather rational point of view. Even though dreams are anything but rational, again, it's just an hypothesis.
Hypothesis!
A hypothesis, essentially.
I like the way he says it. Let him say hypothesis.
I know, but I want to say...
Incredible. That just summarized the entire in single line. 99% of the first chapter was just said.
Yes.
I'm going to make things perfectly clear. For once, this story,
Oh my god, it has become self-aware.
despite all the existing doubts towards its effective credibility, or the fact that the perfect logical separation between reality and illusion is impossible here, this story, simply put, is about love. A love of a father towards his daughter. A tragic love between a dark prince and his sleeping princess. This story, right here, is about feelings and emotions. Things that, despite all the previous existential doubts, can definitely be real. Matti Mali for 2024.
You're not getting my vote.
I need to still iron out my political platform.
Although you're really, really good already in saying a lot of words that don't mean anything. So you've got that part down pat.
Well, what do you expect it, Madhog? You are the one who wrote this speech.
I am the Shadow Master.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
Oh,
guys.
damn
Okay, guys. Let's get back on track. So, are we gonna? Are we gonna?
All
do
right,
It?
all right.
Continue.
There is a change of paragraph, so as it is tradition, we must change narrator. A new day arose. It's a new day! Yes, it is! Oh, wait, new day is dead. Never mind. A new day arose in imaginary world. As far as time had a meaning. But who really cared? Not
What
me!
is story?
Not me, for sure! Actual
I mean-
line written here. And neither the guardian of the precious stone and his daughter did. They were too busy having fun on a roller coaster?
Roller coaster.
I mean, this is probably one of the more sensible lines in this fic. Babies don't care about the time of day.
An illusion? Again, who cared? It was fun, and that's the only thing that mattered. Hoax or not. Once the ride ended, it's only 2 passengers descended, still laughing like demented. I made a rhyme that wasn't even intended.
No.
Wait. It's not over. Please, somebody stops me before this thing couldn't be reverted. Or whatever. Let's just continue the story as I wanted.
And son, I am disappointed.
This is outstanding. Only I could come up with something so random in the midst of something that was already so random in the first place. I'm assuming you liked it, huh? Said the black-eyed, green-leaf-haired entity known as Void to his little ride companion. She giggled and darted towards their daddy, encasing his body in a bear-hug death grip of daughterly love.
It was her way to basically review the roller coaster.
Alright, guys, who wants to voice the baby girl?
Who could
It was
actually
so fun!
do it?
Oh, thank you! I love you, Daddy!
Okay, you get the role.
Oh my god, that is perfect.
That was fantastic, thank you. She cried in an over-enthusiastic fashion, which seemed to be appropriate considering her age. Or better, the age her Physic demonstrated. Little Lumina Flowlight has grown into a beautiful little girl over the past 5 years. As far as time had a meaning, of course, which apparently had, at least in Void's opinion. Time is an opinion, guys!
Well, technically speaking, the concept of time is a completely artificial construct and doesn't exist from the universal point of view.
Then why do we grow old and die?
Because that is our body simply slowly falling apart.
So time exists then?
Oh god, are we really gonna do this? No.
Well, he
please.
brought it up! He started it, Mom! Anyway, Void's appearances hadn't changed at all, but he knew he grew up. If not physically, he did it mentally. He's more mental by the minute, I would say. He's starting to imagine kids that aren't really there, and so imaginary worlds' appearances did. There were cities, entire cities and fancy-looking zones spread all over the mystic realm. And there were people who would live in such places. Thank you. And all of them came out from others' dreams and emotions. So wait, these are dream people who reproduce via thoughts? Hold on a minute, somebody's on the toilet. He's thinking, man, I'd like to have a family one day. Boom! Wife and baby appear at the same time in the bathroom. Well, that's awkward.
I mean, we know that Void has a lot of horny thoughts about his girlfriend, so...
The logistics of this fake imaginary world are wild.
Madhog, remember, he thinks, so it exists.
I know, that's the problem.
Overpopulation is going to be a problem here really soon.
When they need to eat, they just imagine the food, so it solves itself.
Meanwhile,
if there is too many people, he can just stop thinking about them and they're non-existent.
He can just think up the concept of genocide. There, less people all of a sudden.
meanwhile, I'm just thinking like, hey, if I could make my whole family out of nothing, then if I think about finishing that job I was supposed to do, then my job is finished, and I've done what I need to be done already.
If only life were to be that simple.
Oh, it doesn't seem really smart.
I think we made that point abundantly clear. And their existence has been possible thanks to Void and his influence over the precious stone's powers. There was a time, figuratively speaking, in which he would have doubted all of this to be real. As a matter of fact, he still didn't know if he was living inside his own dreams, or if his dreams did become real and living. He did not care, though. He was in a coma, I guess.
In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter whether he's living in his own dreams or his dreams have become living.
What is our world if not the dreams of a god who's sleeping?
Well, you see, long time ago there is this big explosion.
Oh god.
Oh no, please let's just continue with the story.
He did not care at all, because he chose to believe in his world and his emotions. In the hands of a good writer, this would be such a swell allegory for getting over your trauma, starting to heal, coming to terms with your own feelings and emotion, coming out of the other side as a better person. Instead, it's void.
Seems about right.
And his love towards his daughter, I decry the loss of potential here. And his love towards his daughter, for he somehow knew she was real. And his princess, for he knew she was there, still inside the refrigerator in the middle of the world.
But,
yes.
Wait, I thought that Blaze was supposed to be your princess. Are you trying to rip?
That's her. He is referring to her. I used the term princess so many times in the context of Blaze the cat that by now it should be obvious.
Yes, but the way this line is written, it's come out as that his daughter is real and his princess.
Maybe you have issues. Have you thought about that?
Not in this case. Oh, I have many issues, but not in this case.
Those were the only things that mattered, and he was content with that.
What do we do now, Daddy?
Shut up, God, you're so annoying. Lumina suddenly asked while releasing his now short-breathed daddy from her impressive embrace. Void looked down at his child. She was pretty like a flower, redundant. She was a flower, also redundant, for that matter.
You don't say.
I do say. She wore a lilac dress that matched her pink hair. Apparently, she loved the same color of her mother's fur. Her mother.
Okay.
His daughter's attitude was so similar to her mother's own. She was sweet and cute, yet she could be very stubborn and motivated when she would have had goals to accomplish. Those are a couple of very specific traits that you are projecting on this 5-year-old girl, might I add. The older Sidrian chuckled within himself. His mind wandered to that time when she wanted to ride the precious stone so bad she cried for chaos knew how long in order to achieve her improvised life mission of riding the precious stone. Until he finally gave up and let them do it. To his surprise, the stone seemed to react positively to it. Okay, so this should be cute. She wants to ride the stone as if it were a toy horse or something.
Whee! Wow, I want to ride the super powerful gem of existence or whatever it is.
We were casually discussing about cutting pieces of the gem to pay for the bills.
What a
for the baby bills. She's 5! That event made him wonder if the god gem was actually a living being, more than a divine device. That would explain part of its mystery. Lumina noticed his father's sudden unspecified distraction and acted like any small child would act when she would want attention.
Daddy,
Matti?
Daddy, Daddy.
What? What? That, of course, worked, and Void found himself abruptly brought back to reality, as if hit by a cartoon-like anvil. Shut up! What? Yes, Lumina, dear? He said, calmly and gently as ever.
I wanna go see Mommy. Can I go, please? Please?
You are too good at this, Matti, I have to say. I want to strangle you, or at the very least, I want to give you away to an institution.
Yeah, you're going to hate this character.
Oh, yes.
And not because of the writer this time.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. I'm
She
sure
said-
Madhog will find some way to ruin her in the future.
Hopefully not. She said while showing to her unwilling daddy the infamous puppy face of doom. The doom part was my personal ad.
Wow.
The male Citrium took a long and deep breath. He couldn't say no to the little girl. That seems like the Flanders family parenting style. We tried nothing and we're all out of ideas. It pained him. It hurt him, the fact that his daughter was forced to grow up without a mother, which, as we all know, the mother and father family dynamic is the only family that actually counts. Thanks, Mars Needs Moms!
Considering the mother's importance in the early stages of baby's life, do we really want to think about how Void breastfed her?
I'm pretty sure she could imagine her to be filled with milk. Oh god, oh god!
No! Sounds awful!
It
It came out of my mouth and I realized when I said it.
Yes.
I apologize for those awful words that came out of my mouth.
Don't worry, you can fix it in post.
Don't worry,
You know,
just put a VTuber model over it and everyone will just think it's normal.
Anyway, I think we peaked the night after that.
Yeah.
That was the peak of the show. Oh god.
Want some milk?
No. No. There were days in which such knowledge would become unbearable, and when his namesake gaze would pose itself over luminous azure-colored and innocent one, the pain and the guilt would become utterly devastating.
Now, Void, you don't have to tell her about the milk fiasco.
There she was, so young and curious, so fragile, yet strong-willed at the same time, and with a very familiar emptiness in her soul. A sad empty spot inside of her, a potential source of grief and sorrow beyond rightfulness, beyond two souls, if you will. It was Void's greatest fear, Void's greatest torment, the thought that this sweet and carefree little girl, his only daughter, could become like him, consumed by sufferance, by grief, by solitude, an emotional void. Yes, let's go see Mommy, little Lumina. That'll shut her up. He simply answered while swallowing. Oh. She smiled a happy, childish smile. That alone did manage to alleviate the black-eyed boy's current distresses for now. Perhaps, just perhaps, this dream won't turn into a nightmare, and now that you said it, you have jinxed us. Thanks, Void. If it was a dream, that is. Once again, who cared?
Who cares? Who cares?
I think that's the problem. I care
It's
too
not
much.
like I care or anything.
You see, that's the problem. I care too much. I'm the tsundere here. Without wasting any more time, that's the
rich.
sentence of the day, really. The two Sidrian took each other's hand and started walking away from the amusement park. Their destination? Imaginary World's graveyard? Oh no!
So
Excuse me?
why places in ice again?
They're going to the graveyard! Don't you see? She's dead!
She's dead, Jim. Dead.
Oh. Alright, so I have just realized now that this part of the text that's not presented in bold or italic, which normally would consist in the main prose, is actually used here as the author's notes, which fills me with spite.
Yeah.
I guess I have to explain to these stupid readers what this is all about.
And guess whose turn is now?
Heard. That is the name of chapter 3, which we are just starting. It is my belief that rather precious concepts like logic and rationality, although not being absolute creeds, are indeed part of the chaos we live in and not exceptions. Therefore, the simple idea of our own thoughts and dreams merged together into a seemingly perfect society with its towns and people. The idea of our own inner chaotic universes converged into some kind of metaphorical balance should not me surprise us. Not at all.
Should not me surprise us? Excuse me?
Should not surprise us. Yes, that is the sentence you wrote.
Thank you.
Isn't chaos the unbalanced balance of life after all? Do you need a moment, Devar?
I would like to kick this fanfiction.
Kick the great.
That sentence had the same energy as life needs things to live.
There are people in the world. Period.
People die when they are killed.
I love that one.
Every 60 seconds a minute has passed.
Perhaps it's a too rational reasoning. Wow, rationality in this fic? Guess it's more likely than we think.
I will debunk this story using facts and logic.
Then again, I chose to be as more rational as possible for this story. Okay, now that's just blatant lies. Since I still have to deal with my sapient side. And of course, I chose to ignore all the outrageous paradoxes that will inevitably cross this chosen path.
What are you talking about, you madman? You absolute mental case.
I guess this was a fancy way of saying I don't care about plot holes.
Ah!
Or basically saying that the previous 2 chapters talking about whether or not everything exists in a dream and as well as maybe reality does not matter.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me no more.
Is this a real life or is it just fantasy?
Okay, I have this scenario in my head in which the daughter wants to go for a ride with the bicycle that Dad just created for her. So she says, Daddy, I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike.
As for this imaginary yet realistic realm, I've already explained that since dreams didn't respond to our desperate need for rationality, something like a society built up from them should not be possible, rationally speaking, but there it was anyway. Was it just a general metaphoric representation of everyone's feelings, a metaphor therefore a lie?
I'm explaining what a metaphor is. Isn't that great?
Not really.
I mean, you are explaining it badly. Was it real? As far as the whole concept of reality would still be of some purpose. And here's my usual answer. Who cared? Not you, absolutely. Who cared if all of this realm has been built out of pure, raw thoughts, thanks to Void's influence over the precious stone? Who cared if such place was real or just the delusion of some rather arguably would-be writer, which convenient excuse you prefer?
You see, if I criticize myself as a writer, I become immune to criticism.
No!
Here's what I think of that. Now go to your room.
I'm already in my room.
Okay, that's what my old James review show was for. I have already trashed my old work. There you can't criticize me because I already did it for you.
For the sake of yours and my own sanity,
Too late.
I chose Or perhaps I deluded myself into believing I could choose to accept those impossible things as they may come. Why, you may ask? Not really. Because I have a story to write and characters to develop. Oh, character development in this fic? More like character development.
Boo!
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be here all night. That's my perfectly rational excuse. What about your excuse?
Against whom are you having this argument? Is my question. What was my state of mind whilst I wrote this? That's the question.
I was wondering what dollar store philosophy book you were reading before starting this.
What was I angry against? Myself?
Yourself.
The world? All philosophers at once? What was I trying to accomplish? What was I trying to say? Why am I so insistent in trying to make you think that what I'm writing means nothing, but at the same time it means everything?
Was this a response to reviews?
No.
All reviews I had were positive, so no!
I think this was just Madhog thinking that he was smart.
I have no idea what was I going through at the time. It's been such a long time. It's blocked from my memory. All the experiences, whatever underwhelming things I was going through at the time, I cannot even begin to reconcile myself with whatever distorted version of me used to exist 10 years ago. It's truly baffling. I don't have an explanation for this. I don't know what any of this actually mean. It is so idiotically cryptic.
Yeah.
This is quite a change from the last time I was reading.
Oh, that's because you missed out on the entire Void trilogy. That was the beginning of the decay. This is somehow worse, I think.
2 chapters and all that happened is Void has a girl. He takes girl to play stuff and then they go see mum.
Well, good news, Devar. Now you are back in the saddle of this precious stone bike.
Oh, goody.
I'm going to say this. This is worse than the Void Within trilogy for a very simple reason.
In that things actually happened.
That too, but in terms of structure, we have the pretentious poetry slamming that I usually do as a way to frame whatever prose I might end up writing in the midst of all that. Except this time, the pretentious foreplay is the meat and bones of it. And on top of that, we have author's notes essentially incorporated on top of it all. It turns out to be a whole new layer of redundancy. It's redundancy on top of already existing redundancy. It's somehow even more pointless than the Void trilogy. And that's saying something, because at least the Void trilogy, in its own pointlessness, it was about something. It was about existing for the sake of a writer's vice. In this case, we have bypassed the narrative aspect altogether, and we have entered straight up angry ranting territory.
There was a point where we needed to stop, and we have clearly passed it, but let's keep going and see what happens.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It has been said feelings were real, but I'm sure that whoever said that would not imagine those to be that real. Apparently, the majestic god gem that kept things in their rightful chaotic balance in the realm of imaginary world had powers beyond imagination. This pun was intended, by the way.
This was a pun?
Moved by the sheer will of its guardian and master, the precious stone had been able to unify all the raw, subconscious manifestations into a perfect society, whether elusive or not.
We have always been at war with Oceania.
Since the very first dream reading experiments operated by human psychiatrist, I meant to say, psychiatrist Sigmund Freud.
Actually, you might as well call Sigmund Freud a psychotriggerist, for all the validity or lack thereof his research had.
The idea of describing such inner representations as a perfectly logical structure for us to better understand ourselves has not been fully possible to achieve, for obvious reasons. With its current aspect, imaginary world could be almost considered the realization of such purpose, or so it seemed.
The collective unconscious was a Jung idea, not a Freud idea, might I add.
Each and every zones or structures could be seen as metaphorical representations of certain feelings and desires. The amusement park Void and his daughter just left could very well be, symbolically speaking, the cluster of all childish and joyful thoughts that the small kids or certain adults used to have. The little happy place, one could say. A big city nearby, similar to Station Square in size, was a melting pot of all emotions in general. A confusing melting pot, just like big cities used to be. And
Wait,
so on.
I am confused. Are you trying to say that big cities are melting pots of all emotions in general, that are also confusing melting pots just like big cities?
Actually, that works as a metaphor for big cities in real life.
And so on, with infinite locations. Some come out from general ideas, others more personal and unique.
Yada yada yada.
And there were people who would live in them. Living people with feelings and emotions of their own, with dreams of their own, with inner chaos of their own. And all of them were Void's children.
Void, I think you might need to have a dream vasectomy at this rate. You're getting out of control.
You're going to have too many children! Void, you have a problem! Too much imaginary sex!
His personal memories merged into real person. As far as all of this could be considered real. There were Mobians and humans alike living peacefully together.
Together!
A utopia that was possible only in fiction. Here's those doubts again. Idealistically speaking, Void was the god of this world, even though the prime material he used to create everything was not his own, or at least not in all of it.
In brackets.
And his daughter, Lumina, could very well be his chosen messiah.
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay, so now we're in the bad season of Angel territory. Gotcha.
Wait, bad season? What do you mean bad season? Wasn't Angel as a whole bad?
When something is bad, but it's still not the worst you've seen, and then as it goes on, it gets worse.
I'm pretty sure I can never look back at Joss Whedon's older TV series the same way ever again, for obvious reasons.
Honestly, I dread going back, rewatching something I like from that era.
Luckily, I can separate art from the artist.
Matti, the idea that it's feasible to separate the artist from the art is an academic dream that doesn't have any tangible application in real life.
Anyway, just like our tangents,
but we're losing the point here.
That's perfect, I have to say.
That should be the title of this episode. We're losing the point here.
Theological speeches can be very backstabbing sometimes. Therefore, let's just leave it at that for now.
Good. Let's do something else.
Despite its fancy look, this dimension existed for our dreams, and with our dreams,
Wait, I thought it was created by void streams and...
You are thinking too literal. I think after this fanfiction there will always be a little void inside us all.
Yeah, I have just zoned out most of this chapter.
They would come, reborn inside the precious stone, and recreate themselves into the fresh minds of newborn children. Almost like reincarnation, if one would believe in it, of course.
If there is a reincarnation, it will happen whether or not you believe in it or not.
Actually, you have no way to confirm that somebody is reincarnated into someone else because...
Exactly. So it does not matter whether you believe in it or not. If it happens, it still happens whether you believe in it or not.
Hey dude, what do you remember from your previous life?
Oh gosh, we're all isekai protagonists now! Oh no!
I think I was a beaver.
I really don't like the show right now I'm in, called Earth. I think I'd rather be born into another world, thanks.
Yes, hopefully one without fascism.
One more entertaining.
One could say this place was Nirvana.
Why do you have to bring a beloved rock band into this?
Among other mind-blowing things. What? This is supposed to be mind-blowing?
Here I am now, entertain us!
However,
Edge of tomorrow.
there were times in which such thoughts would not leave this realm, in which dreams would die, hopes would be shattered and never return as a whole. Things that, once again, could not be explained, but that, once again, would continue to happen for whatever chaotic reason.
Once again.
This is the worst speech I've heard from you. Please go back to your previous version.
Can you imagine if I were the one who wrote I have no mouth and I must scream? You don't have to imagine it, you're seeing it right now.
This is your Eye of Argon, Madhog.
Well, I would argue that with the Eye of Argon, sometimes you cannot even understand words that are being said.
I'm having that same issue with this.
The words here are completely comprehensible. They just don't mean shit.
That is a fair, although very rude way of putting it.
Death is part of our life, and even this realm wasn't immune to that.
So it's real life.
Thanks to Void's doing, those dead dreams had now a place to be. An immense graveyard situated in the extreme
All
corner.
of this just to establish the freaking graveyard? God damn it!
This is the exact sort of framing from the Eye of Argon where, you know, you had all this setup just to basically say, the guy stabbed a rat.
So you once compared me to Kingdom Hearts, and now lower, much lower on the bar, you are comparing me to the Eye of Argon.
No, I
don't
didn't
know how I feel about that.
I did not compare you to Kingdom Hearts. I told you Kingdom Hearts was a much more comprehensible story.
No, it is not. It is absolutely not. Have you taken a simple goddamn look, a cursory look at the wiki for Kingdom Hearts? Just 5 minutes in there. Nothing that I could ever hope to write will ever match that level of incomprehension.
I can make sense of Kingdom Hearts, so there.
Bullshit! You can't!
But I'm not going to do it here because otherwise we'll be here for 30 minutes. Yeah.
Anyway.
Madhog, it is okay. You need to come into terms with that. There is things that are more comprehensible than this.
But it's not Kingdom Hearts. I will never accept Kingdom Hearts.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Anyway,
Yes,
I'm continuing the story.
An immense graveyard situated in the extreme corners of his kingdom. If a border existed, of course. In such place, those broken dreams and hopes, those shattered souls, devoured by torment, would peacefully rest until their reawakening would eventually come. There were millions, billions of graves all over the place.
Please, Void, I think you should stop thinking about killing and death that much.
is of my sexual fantasy.
You know, I wish I could write Kingdom Hearts. That way I would get paid to write utter shit! Instead of writing it for free!
While walking inside the cemetery, both Lumina and his father could read some of the sad farewells written on those aforementioned tombstones. Dad, who's Renona Ryder? We do not talk about that one.
She's not dead, you know.
I'm saying about the sexual fantasy joke. Never mind.
Phrases like these.
Alright, each one of us will get
An epitaph.
one of these. Yes, let's get an epitaph per person. Here lie the hopes and dreams of a man who wanted to change the world he lived in and failed.
Perfect.
Here lies the loving feeling of a broken-hearted woman.
And next to it, here lies the woman's husband.
The joke tombstones you would find in Monkey Island.
No, these are the joke tombstones you would find in the older Treehouse of Horror Simpsons episodes.
Ah, right.
But also encouraging sentences like these.
Here lie the greed and lust for power of a man who decided that there were more important things in life.
Oh, so it's actually wholesome in spite of your choice of voice.
So let me get it straight. This guy realized something more important in life and then died.
No. This is a metaphorical, symbolic epitaph for his greed and lust for power, which he managed to shake off to become a better person.
Okie dokie.
Here lies the despair of a now realized individual.
This is oddly wholesome. I wish it were in a better story. Like Kingdom Hearts, which is so much better than this, apparently.
I said it was more comprehensible.
And I say lies.
And I say to your lies, lies.
And I will counteract with slander.
And so on and so on. It was refreshing in a way to think that this place as both an ending and a beginning for everybody's soul.
Everybody's soul.
What, should I be Shang Tsung all of a sudden now? But I can't do the live action actor's voice. The best I can do is,
Your soul is mine.
Your soul is mine.
Sielusi on minun.
Whether being positive or not, Lumina looked genuinely fascinated by all of this.
Wow. Death.
Not literal death. Whatever. You can't explain symbolism to a child.
But this is not symbolism, this is real. As far as reality exists.
No, you see, this is reality, which is explained as symbolic, which is also explained in what the hell am I saying now?
Which is sapient reality.
So if Void is imagining all of this, where is his body?
It's there.
Exactly.
in aisle 3, it's getting cleaned up.
He has pretty much gone all Scarlet Witch and created his own reality.
Oh my gosh, you're so right! This is WandaVision for Void before WandaVision. This now makes a lot more sense, especially compared to Kingdom Hearts.
No, anyway.
Yes.
Okay, so let me think now. Where was I? I didn't get to that part yet.
Okay.
Lumina looked genuinely fascinated by all this. As a child of her,
Supposed, in brackets,
age would be.
Daddy?
Oh god, what does she want? Yes!
She suddenly asked.
Yes, Han! A pulsating vein appearing on his forehead.
You were a mistake. He asked back.
What happens to people who die?
Would you like to see?
Would you like me to show you?
We have such sights to show you.
I have some sights to show you.
Here is PlayStation 1 and a copy of Final Fantasy 9.
So small, yet so perceptive. She by now already understood the conventional difference between life and death. Therefore, she was curious to know if there was an afterlife.
I thought this was the afterlife, though.
And of course, despite being some kind of a god,
Some kind of a god.
not even Void could answer such a question for two rather simple reasons.
Which I'm going to explain in painful detail.
There's a writing error or a linguistic error. If you write an A god, then the G is in small, and if it's a Christian god, then it's a capital G.
Yes, but it's my character, so it's a capital G god to me.
And now I will tell you this in the form of a top 10 list, starting at number 1. He didn't know if he or Lumina or everyone else in this realm would sustain a normal life cycle. For what he knew, they could all live forever, like Ixis Naugus did before.
It's a graveyard filled with billions of dead people.
Icy Pal, once again, you're missing the context that the graveyards do not contain literal dead people, dead dreams and feelings, which I've spent an inordinate amount of time explaining before introducing the graveyard. Pay attention! Think, Icy Pal, think!
Yes, and this very story says that there lies the untountable amounts of shattered souls of people.
I think me and Icy Pal have not had this feeling before about any story.
I consider that an accomplishment.
I mean-
Also, continue.
Anyway, number 2. He didn't really know if there was an afterlife or everything that vaguely resembled that. If he would have had such knowledge, he would have known the meaning of life and chaos wouldn't even exist. And the whole universe would have probably collapsed under the sheer weight of such a disfiguring paradox and all that jazz.
Good thing that the author specifically told that he's going to ignore all paradoxes.
And if you like my top 2 list, then bang that subscribe button and hit the likes. And be sure to tune in for my next top 2 list. He looked his sweet daughter in the eyes and smiled, finally answering her question.
Oh gosh, I cannot wait for this. They become angels and go to a happy place where they would ride roller coasters and giant purple stones for the rest of the eternity.
Yay!
God damn it.
Right. I don't think that's how children would react to such an answer to a serious question like that.
Can I die too?
No!
Yes! In time.
If you wait patiently for it.
The day of your birthday. Oh.
Eat your vegetables.
And then he loads 2 shotgun shells. No, that's too dark, even for me. What would you do if you were into Void shoes? I'm not into Void shoes, but if I was, I would hope it smells nice.
I am
would
into
have-
many things, but shoes is not one of them.
After walking for a while, the 2 of them reached their destination. The exact middle of the tombstone garden, where she lay.
Okay, pause for a second there. We established that this graveyard is not literally containing the dead or the souls of the dead, rather dead dreams and the feelings that were left behind by people who lived. And now we have literally a woman in ice in the middle of it.
But she's not dead, she's just sleeping.
Maybe don't put her in a graveyard.
Well, allow me to channel my inner Xehanort and say that because all of this is a dream graveyard, that means Blaze herself is nothing but a figment of his dreams
And
No, wait. I think I know what's going on. You see, Lumina is Blaze's Heartless, and Void is the replica, which is not like the Heartless or the Nobody. But then Blaze turns out to be Terrax Xenoheart in disguise, possessing another corpse. And then you have the gall to say to me that you can understand the Kingdom Hearts better than this. Okay,
Yes!
moving on.
Yes.
Shut up! Shut
To
up!
make this into a crossover with something better than this.
I'm not saying that this is better than Kingdom Hearts on the premise that this is not paid work. Okay, if you like Kingdom Hearts, more power to you.
I mean,
Just
I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. I have never played it.
Then you don't have a say in this, then!
I can still tell that is more comprehensible and sense-making than this.
That's because
Matt-
you've never spent more than 5 minutes reading the
Madhog,
synopsis.
you don't-
What?
The only reason you don't understand it because you don't have the proper map.
The proper map.
She was as beautiful as ever and asleep. Of course, inside her frozen shiny case.
Oh my, this is a fetish officially now.
yes,
I polish it every day.
Yikes.
Like Snow White.
yes, he just goes like, and then wipes it.
Is the cat, Void's queen, and Lumina's mother. He simped over her for years,
Hoping she'd notice him. He gave her all the business.
And then Void had a nightmare of Blaze getting together with alternate universe Silver, who was not the gene spreader.
Oh god, the gene spreader. You know
What?
You know what? The spreader is a great name for the Shredder once he retires from villainy and becomes a porn star.
Okay,
The spreader.
What do you mean retires and then becomes?
Blaze the cat, Void's queen, and Lumina's mother. Somehow, some way.
Over the rainbow.
You know, to be perfectly frank, she's Luminous' mother, same way Tails is Void's dad.
Yes, I think. Maybe?
Noticism!
Say hello to your mommy, Lumina.
Oh,
He said,
oh, Tails is a grandfather.
Yes.
Ah!
And he's only 8.
Well, you know, at least this is not Archie Comics.
He should be 13 now, if time has a meaning.
Which
Okay.
it doesn't, except when it does.
Yes.
Hi, Mom!
for the next few minutes, the little Cedrian girl would talk to her mother about the beautiful day she and Daddy spent
Beautiful.
together. Yeah, beautiful.
The beautiful day, the outful boyfriend.
Riding roller coasters and other cool stuff.
Other cool stuff.
Void would watch the both of them from the distance, sighing within himself. It was such a heartwarming picture, the way little Lumina used to react in front of her frozen mom.
While Daddy Void puts the shells inside the shotgun.
Almost as if she wasn't frozen at all, as if she was alive with them.
Tell me, Lumina, do you like my puppet show?
You might want to stare in the eyes of this one. A sudden pain eroded its way inside the older Cedrian's heart, a reminder of his namesake's sufferance, a sorrow that never truly left his soul and never truly will. It was his condemn, after all, to feel the void, to idealistically be the void within everyone's souls, to suffer for the sake of his symbolic role. The source of his current pain, however, has been caused by a knowledge, a sad, no, a horrifying knowledge towards his daughter, towards what could possibly be the sole purpose of her existence, the real reason her birth, as far as predestined roles would be possible. He tried to suppress such thoughts inside the back of his mind, of his being
but to no avail. He was conflicted, to say the very least.
Everyone, take a step back. I think Devar is about to explode.
I now know how Madhog feels when I don't got all the fluff from my game recording materials.
You do, huh?
Daddy, I'm done.
So am I. Okay, let's go. Behind that bush over there, there's candy.
I wish we could go.
And so they did.
Yeah!
Did.
And Esputin! Okay, I hope this never dies.
Once out of the romantic metaphor
Wait.
for people's dead dreams, the small
That's,
child-
wait, hold on. That's a dubious use of the word romantic, I have to say.
I think you meant to say romanticization.
Yes, that's what I meant to say, clearly.
Clearly, but still. The small child's gaze fixed itself on her father's own. She had watery eyes, by the way.
Dad, do you think Mommy will ever woke up?
She almost muttered. Floyd couldn't take it anymore, and hugged his only daughter tightly and lovingly. She hugged him back, sobbing quietly.
I don't know, Lumina. I don't know. I know nothing.
His answer, which like cake, was a lie.
How could you?
When she asked him if there was an afterlife, he couldn't quite know about it, but he certainly knew the answer from his own latest topic. Or better, one of the possible answers. Only it was too painful to even be considered.
If I could, I would do anything to woke her.
She declared all of a sudden in her dad's ear, if he had any.
I mean, ears are like dreams. Sometimes you have them.
Ears are a metaphorical concept after all.
Apparently.
Like
Everything
time.
is. I mean, this story may or may not exist for all we know.
I mean, after all, selective hearing is a thing. That was a further stab in the Siegrian's heart. Of course it was. When she was born, he decided to put all of his doubts aside and believe in what he could feel, but now his own feelings were getting back to him in an almost sadistic way. And once again, he had doubts, and he would grieve about, because it seemed that the key for his Queen's awakening lay within his daughter's very soul.
Oh, drama!
Did you come into that conclusion?
There are beings meant to suffer, isn't it? Are you talking about us? Are you talking about us?
I need
Okay.
to be reminded on how Blaze ended up inside ice again.
Correct me if I am misremembering this, even though I wrote it. At the tail end of Tales, Ixisnogus betrayed Void, pulled a Kalima on him, if you will.
Kalima!
Yes, that. And just before he would die, Blaze did some hullabaloo chaos magic and whatnot,
Set them
and
both on fire.
transported both him and herself into some sort of sanctuary dimension where they both became encased in ice because ice is a metaphor for ice.
Being frozen. Today.
Sure, something along those lines. Ice usually works as a metaphor for forced solitude, but it doesn't really work if they are frozen together. So it's meaningless. It just looks cool. Because it's ice, get it?
Frozen in time, as you would say.
After all of that, for some inexplicable, inane reason, Blaze was the only one inside the ice, and Void was having weird existential adventures that didn't really go anywhere.
It was all a dream.
It's just preconceived notions of something happening.
The blueprint of a story that could happen, but we only get to see the bullet points and the author's notes of it. So this is the end of chapter 3, and I'm going to say maybe we should call it a night.
Oh, God, yes. Please.
We are halfway in the middle of this. Then again, we are out of practice with this. We used to be able to digest a lot more text in our previous lives, but this is getting so much worse.
I think because, the whole tangents we have in between, we can't help ourselves.
Those are the elements that really make this show, though.
I know.
This is the fun that we're having. We make our own fun with the terrible things that we read.
Yeah, I didn't think there would be anything worse than gore sexapades of furry animals, but I now found that there is. It's boredom. Their complete uneventfulness.
Just like I during say chapter 1, this thing talks a lot but says very little. There's just padding.
Padding. A conga line of padding, if you will. So, I'm going to confess something to you guys.
What?
On occasion, when I do exercise, I like to go back and re-listen to our older episodes of Dramatis Lectio when we were covering the bulk, the then insurmountable mountain of the Tales saga, the real story that is. And I remember all the fun and the despair, the whole spectrum of emotions that we were feeling, and it was all very entertaining to hear again, especially after a time when I might not remember what jokes were said and what good times were had. As time goes on, and we go deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole of the Tales saga spin-offs, I always worry that we might never be able to recapture the magic, especially when the text that we are riffing is less and less eventful and more boring, as it inevitably drags itself into a burning inferno. But I have to say, after tonight, I think we've still got it. And I'm glad we do, because this will be hell for me to edit, but it will be worth it in the end, because of all the laughter and unintentional innuendos we spout on a minute-by-minute basis. And even though 2 of you absolutely drove me insane tonight, I will still look back at this with fondness in my heart. Less.
Just so everything is back to normal.
The world is healing, you might be saying.
So Izzy Pal and Matti drove you insane?
Nah, sure, sure, Devar, sure. Okay, and with that said, at some point we will pick up where we left and finish reading this travesty. But for the sake of our mental health and to recharge our comedy batteries, we're going to put a stop to this show.
But this week is not in Finnish.
Okay.
How can we finish it?
So, anyway.
I think we've already barfed our best material so far, and we cannot top the freaking filled with milk which was absolutely terrible, and I love it.
Yeah, maybe next time I can bring something from the time when I thought I was so smart at the age of 16.
If you mean your Energy Core of Power comic, then yes. My brain is going to give birth to a baby girl. It's in labor right now. So I'm going to have to leave you with... this is my advice. Shotguns are a surprisingly good babysitter. Good night, everybody!
Take care.